I'll go when I'm ready.
Oh.
Because today, I want to do something serious. Now, let's see. What grinds my gears?
Nintendo.
Batman v Superman did not do well box office-wise because the reviews tore it apart. And when DC fans said that was very unfair, it didn't get its fair chance because of the reviews, all the Marvel fanboys were like, well, don't release it early if you don't want reviews like that. Justice League is only going to do a 24-hour peer review beforehand before releasing. Now Marvel fans are going, oh, you're afraid to release your movie early, huh? You're just scared? Can we win? Can we have something? Okay, can we have something? We can't win for losing here. Oh, it's also time for the enthusiasts.
Yes! Oh my god!
What is up, everybody? You're here with one of your hosts of The Enthusiasts, DC fanboy, Nintendo fanboy, Power Ranger lover, Sonic undercover brother, and all-around fun guy, Justin Nazario, here with my partner in life, partner in love, partner in many things,
Will Zabo.
Will Zabo. I think we could be life partners. If our kids wouldn't come out looking like horses, I think we could have made it work between us. For sure.
I would say you're kind of the yin to my yang.
I guess, yeah.
You know, you like Nintendo. I'm kind of feeling like, maybe that's just not my thing anymore.
I can see that, yes.
We had Moe's earlier. I talked to you about it. I decided to just out my feelings of Nintendo to Nintendo fans. Mm-hmm. See how that went. And, well, it was pretty mixed.
Yeah.
Some people were incredibly upset. Someone said that there's no safe place for me and called me a bitch.
Wow.
Yeah, it got pretty violent.
Wow.
And then some people felt the same way I did. Some people did say, like, I had a couple guys say that they already sold their Switch. They were like, oh, I got rid of mine because I felt all the games were boring and nothing really appealed to me. And I was like, that's how I feel. So it's nice to know other people feel that way. And then there were some guys who were serious Nintendo fanboys, and I knew they were because, well, they're in there all the time. They're really talking about all the things that they love about Nintendo. And they were kind of telling me, and I really respected their opinion because instead of attacking me or anything like they could have, they just kind of...
Yeah, because I want to attack you.
They said to me, they were like, I respect your opinion. They may not agree with it, but they respect it, and they can kind of see where I'm coming from. They did say that maybe Nintendo's just not for me anymore. And they were like, they don't play Nintendo for a serious story. They play it for the gameplay. And I was like, and I said to them, I was like, this just seems odd to me that Nintendo, we know they can do gameplay, but we don't expect the next thing from them and the evolution of their gaming.
I think what's been holding you on attaching yourself to Nintendo for so long is your memories you used to have. Like, every time I see you talk about Majora's Mask, the smile that comes across your face shows that. So I think because of that, you always hold out and you're like, Nintendo, you're gonna feel that feeling again. Maybe it's not gonna ever come back for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you this, I love Wind Waker. You know what I mean? I loved Ocarina of Time. When I played Breath of the Wild, I got that feeling back again of playing those games.
Yeah.
If you didn't get that, you probably never will.
No, I didn't.
Probably never
I mean,
will.
I loved Wind Waker. Wind Waker's my second favorite Zelda.
Yep, it's my favorite.
And then,
Listen.
I don't know, because I love... Earthbound to me is such a special story.
Oh, God, isn't
it?
it?
And it drives me crazy that Nintendo can make something like that, but they refuse to make, anything else as deep as Earthbound, in my opinion. You have Fire Emblem, which is really good storytelling as well, but Nintendo really doesn't do anything other, outside of that either when it comes to storytelling.
Well, I mean, you also got to remember those companies you're talking about. Like, Earthbound was made by the Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
Pokemon Company's always kind of been really out there with their stories. And, I'd say probably one of the best stories in a Mario game was Mario RPG.
I agree with that.
That was made by Square Enix. Or Square Enix.
Square at the time.
Square.
Because Square and Enix weren't together yet. It's just Squaresoft.
You're Squaresoft.
But yeah, so,
Plus, it's a divisive idea, man. It's like Marvel and DC fanboys. You know what I mean? They'll always go at each other.
I really, right now the main thing holding holding me together in this is Xenoblade. I really want to play that. But other than that, I don't really know what the future of Nintendo holds, and that's what kind of sucks. Like, Nintendo has
Xenoblade does look good though, doesn't it?
It does, but
I watched the Nintendo Direct and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I hated the last one. I want to buy this one again.
yeah,
Probably be pissed.
yeah. I pre-ordered the collector's edition.
The collector's edition is super nice. Too bad I'm cheap.
It is. I was a little disappointed with one thing from that direct, but we'll get to that when we get to it in the news. But yeah, that was pretty much all I wanted to say. Was maybe Nintendo just isn't for me. I'm going to hold out for Xenoblade, and maybe I'll hold out in hopes that they'll announce an Animal Crossing soon. But
So what you're trying to say is no more hate mail for you. Just leave you alone. You know what I mean?
it's done.
It's done. No more attacking you.
I now
anymore.
know where I stand.
No
and
more people approaching me and be like, "What's up with that guy?" All right, that you do the podcast with. Is he a jerk? I'm like, no, he's a great guy. It's a great guy.
He just doesn't like
Just
Nintendo.
doesn't like Nintendo like that. I'm sorry.
But, you know, I think you're right. I do think of all the old things that Nintendo did. Like, and you know what's funny, though? I hold things like Chrono Trigger. When I think of Chrono Trigger, I think of it as a Nintendo game because I played it first on the Super Nintendo, but it wasn't made by Nintendo. And a lot of the stuff I love that came from Nintendo was all another company that did it under Nintendo. So, I don't know. Maybe that's my problem.
All the early Final Fantasies, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. When I even some simple Secret of Mana. When I think of that game, I think it was in the Nintendo game, and it's not. You know, when it's getting re-released and not on the Switch.
PS4.
Or on the PlayStation.
But how was your week?
I'm the opposite. I bought Mario Party 100 games because I love Mario.
Yeah.
So I bought that today. And
A GameStop employee threw the Mario hat with the eyes at me. I slapped it to the ground because he was not going to possess me.
he wasn't going to possess you.
Not with his voodoo.
I actually made that joke today because we were walking through the mall, and our malls has a Dick's Sporting Good in it.
Yeah.
And I seen this kid playing with like one of those like mannequins. And I was like, man, I wish I had that hat so I could possess the mannequin and really just scare the shit out of him and get a good laugh. And then my wife's like, it's weird that you really fantasize about that and you're an adult. And I was like, yeah, probably. But besides that, I tried Evil Within 2. A good friend of mine let me borrow it. I let him borrow Call of Duty because I finished that. I don't like it.
Yeah, you were telling me, and
I'm
But-
trying to too, man, because he talked it up for me, and he listens to this too. So I'm sorry, man. I'm trying.
what's funny to me is I think you and me have the same opinion on it. I actually enjoyed it for the gameplay. I do think that the gameplay's solid, but I do agree with you with the voice acting. It sounds like an original Resident Evil game.
And I'm telling you, and like I said, well, the gameplay doesn't bother me. It's cool. It's a little difficult to aim in the game, but they made that up to you by saying, hey, we know the difficult or the aiming's difficult, so here's the thing you can press where you will automatically aim for you. I feel like that's a little too easy, so I
Yeah.
didn't click on that, but I'm glad it gave me the option because the aiming is difficult in the game.
I'm surprised they didn't just make it a skill. Because you know how you go into your brain and you can increase things? I'm just shocked that they didn't let the
Yeah.
stability of your arms.
I didn't. So the aiming's cool. The only thing I don't like is, I understand it's supposed to be a survival horror game, so ammo's supposed to be limited. But I feel like with the open world they give you, the limited ammo is annoying to me. Like if you're gonna make it limited,
If it was linear,
then limited ammo would make sense. You know what I mean? Even the Resident Evil 7 that came out, it gave you the illusion of an open world, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a linear game. So when you had limited ammo like that, it made sense to me. Because it was terrifying. You never knew what was be around that corner. But what annoys me about this is I'll fight a couple enemies, go into a house, do a mission, come out, and then all those enemies respawn again. And I just limited amount of ammo in the game, so it's like, oh, now I gotta... And I don't want to play horror games sneaking around. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, that's how I play. But I do understand what you mean.
I want to play
Guns blazing.
yes, George A. Romero, Day of the Dead style, just popping zombies in the face.
I will say this too, and I don't know if maybe you feel this way. The enemies feel a little like they're kind of bullet spongy.
Yes.
Like, for a game that has limited ammo, most games do a pretty good job that if you have limited ammo, as long as you're precise with your shots, you then don't use as much ammo. But this game, it felt like I would still be getting headshots, but it would still take quite a few headshots.
Yeah, like
to take
the
them
head
down.
was split open and everything, and the little tentacles would come out and all that. You know what I think game perfectly captured the limited ammo, but if you had good enough shots, you were okay. Was Cold Fear? I don't remember that. It was Xbox and PS2 game. Only zombie game I knew where you actually had to get headshots to kill the zombies in the game.
Huh.
And they gave you limited ammo on that, so you had to make sure you were good at the game. But I enjoyed it because one headshot, they were down. Bam, it was over. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
I feel like that would have made this game a little better. And the voice acting. And then I told you during lunch, and I was actually warned about this, but when you, and I feel like this is not a spoiler, but when you really unlock the gun range, and my character got a perfect shot, and I forgot what he said. Something like "bam, chicka, wah, wah," or something like "oh yeah." I don't remember what it was, but I turned the game off and I haven't played it since. You're basically in hell in the game, and that's how you respond. You know what I mean? Can you imagine like being in hell fighting demons, and then like you get a good headshot on a demon, you're like, yeah, that's what I do. You wouldn't do that. You know, I don't forgive that in horror movies. I don't forgive that in my video games.
I can respect that. I've been playing Wolfenstein still. And then I started just playing Horizon again. And man, I forgot how beautiful that game is.
Did they release? They haven't released the.
The DLC's out.
Oh, is it?
That came out on Tuesday. That's why I started it again.
How is the DLC?
So the DLC is still part of the core game. So I loaded my save file after I beat the game. And I apparently forgot the controls, and I never made it to the DLC because I keep dying because I suck. So I have to readapt to the game. So I think I'm just gonna like practice for a little bit. Like I didn't even remember the controls. I was just frantically pressing buttons because I couldn't remember how to melee.
Is it walking through the map you have to get to the DLC?
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can fast travel to the closest thing to it, and that's what I did. But when I fast traveled there were hunters and robots fighting in the area, and the robots started targeting while I was trying to run through. I was like, I'm not even going to bother with these guys. I don't care. I beat the game. I just went through the DLC. And then the robots targeted me, and then I started getting attacked.
It's kind of like Breath of the Wild, where when you finish it, when the DLC came out for the sword pack, it just came part of the map. You could teleport there now, or walk there at least. Well, I definitely want to try. I didn't know it was out yet, but I just bought the 100 game party pack, and I also paid for my Skyrim that comes out Friday, so next Friday. So
yeah, I'm excited for Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Battlefront 2.
Is that popular?
Yeah, you know.
I've heard about this thing. So, movie coming out, right? Something.
Yeah. The last, I don't know what kind
Seon or something like that. I can't remember.
Klingon.
Ah, that's right.
Last
That's right.
Klingon.
Or a wizard. I don't. You know, I can't remember.
The Last King?
I do remember in the trailer, Spock was like, "May the Force be with you, Harry Potter," or something like that. I don't.
And then we saw Sam
Yep.
from Lord of the. Then Sam was there to guide him.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Makes sense. And we just pissed off a lot of people.
These guys aren't enthusiastic. They're phonies. Flip their desk. You know what though? Let's just get on with
The news.
So Disney, man, they don't give up.
I don't like it.
So
I
they're.
love them though, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They are now apparently considering buying out 21st Century Fox Entertainment.
Not only that, though, I just want to say everywhere online, and maybe I'm the crazy one, everybody's like cheering and thinking this is such an awesome thing and happy. So, like, I don't know, I'm like the Debbie Downer, and I'm like, no.
You're the hipster.
I'm the hipster in this situation. I don't want that at all.
Yeah. You don't want your X-Men with jokes.
I don't. I love my X-Men movies. And I know a lot of people look at me crazy, but I always say I feel like the X-Men franchise as a whole has been good. Yeah, there's been a couple sour spots in there, but as a whole, they've treated that franchise with respect. Mm-hmm. And what I like about the X-Men movies not being part of the Marvel franchise is you can get some real emotion out of the films. You set up a universe with Marvel, and this is not a shot at Marvel at all, because I do like a lot of Marvel movies. But you set up a universe with not a lot of consequences, not a lot of death, and you don't feel that heaviness. Like, can you imagine how people would feel if they went and seen a Marvel movie and it was just a heavy film? Like, with sorrow and everything like that. People, they wouldn't know how to take it. But with this X-Men universe you built up, you can do stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Like Logan?
Either one. I thought the one in Days of Future, not Days of Future Past, First Class.
Apocalypse.
Was it Apocalypse?
Yep. The little kid from the road. We're all grown up played him.
Oh.
In Apocalypse.
Okay. Well, I didn't mind him as much, but I still wasn't a huge fan.
I agree. Nightcrawler's a hard character to hit, and that accent is really hard
I
to
thought
hit.
the Gambit that we got in Origins, well, let's just pretend Origins didn't happen.
They pretend like it didn't happen. They literally reboot that film.
Yeah.
Okay? But besides that, I like the fact that because it's separate from Marvel, you can do things like kill off certain characters. And, you know what I mean? Some fans are going to be pissed. Some fans take it. Me, personally, I like watching them X-Men movies because I'm like, because it's not part of that Marvel universe, no one's safe.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen.
You know what I mean?
You know? And they basically just got rid of their head guy, Wolverine. He's done. So
I really do appreciate that franchise, and like I said, I feel like, to me, I hate monopolies, and I feel like the more Disney acquires studios, the less films need to compete. You know what I mean? I feel like we're getting out of the age of amazing, well-written films because so many big studios own so many things. Back in the day, studios used to have contracts with actors, and after those started breaking, and actors could go to whatever studio they wanted, you were getting amazing performance out because they're working with different directors, they're working with different people, you're getting all this soon. Disney starts owning everything. It's going to be the same junk they keep popping out. And I don't want to sound like a hipster, but
I'm going to get 30,000 jokes in every movie.
yeah, it's like, as much as I do like the Marvel movies, there's a certain formula I'm used to in those films. And it's like, I've gone in, I've seen them, and it's like, it's the same exact film. Are they done well? Yeah, I love Doctor Strange. Still felt like Iron Man. You know what I mean? Iron Man with magic. So, Thor Ragnarok. Okay, it was okay. It felt like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
They feel like the same.
And I feel like ever since Guardians, personally, they've been trying to constantly re-hit that same tone. You know what I mean?
Which all they need to do is put Chris Pratt in there without a shirt. You know what I mean? That's what I liked. I'm assuming that's what everybody else liked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We talked about it a little bit at lunch that I feel like the main reason why Disney's doing this isn't so much maybe for the X-Men, but I think it's mostly for Galactus.
And that I can understand. I wish they would just do a deal with like they did with Spider-Man. Just buy the Fantastic Four and Galactus. Because you know what? Fox has effed them up twice. I will give you that. And we talked about it. There's nowhere they can go after Thanos that makes sense. The only villains that really made sense to us were Apocalypse, Doctor Doom, and Galactus.
Which are all
and they're all owned by Fox right now. Yeah. So I can understand that.
And you can maybe do the Skrulls, but I just don't feel like they have the same
I think
impact.
that's the direction they're probably going to go with it. If they don't acquire it, they'll go with the Skrulls. And probably something like Secret Invasion or something like that. I don't know. To be honest, now, if it was me, you have Norman Osborn, technically now. That is a huge villain you could do.
Yeah, do this more Sinister Six.
You could set that up pretty well.
And what's weird is they kind of screwed themselves, in my opinion, with this, because they decided to let Daredevil be a Netflix series, and they don't want that to be any part of their cinematic universe. But you basically just took the Kingpin, who, in the Marvel Universe, has been known to set up deals and set up things to go against some big heroes, and you now put him in a TV series that you don't want a part of your movies.
Yep.
But at the same time, apparently when Disney launches their own thing, their own streaming service, all those Netflix shows are dead.
In which I know a lot of people are upset about, but I'm not. I haven't watched one ever since Daredevil Season 2.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of interested in Punisher, only because I really like what they did with that Punisher character, and I do love Punisher. But that's another thing that really annoys me. I would always want to see Punisher in that big extended universe, only because...
Well, especially when you have a Spider-Man now.
I love the fact that Punisher was such a contrast to the rest of the heroes. He was one of the best parts in Civil War in the comics, in my opinion, and I loved him about that. And because you chose to make him in the smaller universe, you'll never get to enjoy him like that.
Yeah.
Many people make fun of the fact that the DCU extended universe, is crazy because it's split between TV, film, comic, and all that. But at the end of the day, at least you can do those two representations of two characters. So if you don't like Ezra Miller's Flash, you got Grant Gustin's on the CW, you know?
Yeah.
But that's cool because Disney can do whatever they want, you know, including screwing theaters when it came to Star Wars.
Yeah, you told me about this at lunch today, and I was shocked.
I'm really pissed off, and like I said, I want to boycott Disney for this and not see the new Star Wars movie. But
Not gonna happen.
it's not going to happen because, like I said, I didn't see Rogue One in theaters. Everybody and their mother ruined it for me, and my best friend went and seen it without me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, still haven't forgiven you for that one, buddy.
Yeah, Tiger. Should probably
Oh, yeah, it was
not have done that.
You know who it was, man. You know who it was. I compared you to Scar over that. But anyway, for those who don't know, a lot of people don't understand this, but a majority of the box office, or not a majority, big percentage of the box office goes, or ticket sales goes straight to the box office. The theater doesn't get that. So the theater makes a lot of the money off of concessions, but it's still like some ticket sales. So usually the way a movie works is 30 to 40% will go to the box office. The rest will go to the theater for ticket sales. That covers electric, running the theaters, up on the projector, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Disney, knowing that Star Wars is now the highest grossing domestic film in America, was like, I bet you we can throw Star Wars in and just make our own rules. So they're now asking for demanding 60% of the box office or ticket sales to go straight to the box office to them. And they must play the Star Wars film in the biggest theater they have for a 4-week minimum. Now, I know you're thinking, that's Star Wars is going to make a bunch of money. That makes sense. Why wouldn't you play for 4 weeks? That works for most theaters, like big multi-screen theaters. What happens in small towns, though, with that movie theater that only has one screen? Everybody in that town is going to go see it in the first week or two. So after that, you're just losing money at this point. So the reason why a lot of theaters are opting not to do this or saying I'm not doing this is because Disney has a ridiculous clause in there if they feel like you broke it, which means 70% of the ticket sales for all the other movies will not go to Disney if you break that contract with them. So you made no money. Once again, AMC's, Regal, stuff like that, they can afford it, but Kirby's theater shop can't afford that. I was just looking at Kirby. That's where the idea came. So, how do you feel about this? You feel like Disney's really like, Mickey Mouse is sitting on the throne right now. Oh, I got them. What are they
Mickey Mouse has always been on the throne. He's never once been off the throne. It sucks. You know what I mean? And what really sucks is, obviously those mom and pop theaters are going to want Star Wars too because it's such a big movie. And if you don't get Star Wars, you're losing money there too.
Absolutely.
But you kind of, I don't know. I think you really kind of have to weigh what it's going to be. Okay, if we take Star Wars, yeah, we might not have tickets for 2 weeks, but will the first 2 weeks of us having Star Wars really make us enough money to survive the next 2 weeks?
Right.
If it doesn't, then you now have to think, okay, well, for the whole month, are we going to make enough money now that Disney's going to be taking 70%?
Yeah.
Or are we in the same boat either way? And I mean, my bigger concern than this is now when other studios see that they did this, and they're like, you know what? We know we have something just as good as...
Think about it. I was thinking the same thing when it comes to Fate of the Furious. That did incredibly well. I think it was the highest grossing out of all the Fast and the Furiouses. And I feel like, I forgot, Fox does those movies? Or is it 20th Century Fox?
I believe so.
But what happens if they're like, hey, you know what? The next Fast and the Furious, we're going to make the same deal.
Oh, Disney would own them.
Or, I can't think of any other film that's done especially well. Like I said, Star Wars was that first time where Disney really got heavy.
Well, what's funny is I was just about to say Avatar. Those movies, they're also under Fox. Those could be another thing. But once again, if Disney buys 21st Century Fox, it'll be Disney as well.
So that makes me worried, and what makes me more worried is, say,
Marvel movies.
Last Jedi comes out and it does even better than Force Awakens. Disney will be like, what happens when Disney's like, I want 75% of the ticket sales? Where does it stop?
Yeah. Yeah, no. I agree. Because I feel like Disney is that company that could be like, oh, you're not going to play ball? Not getting my movie.
We'll build our own theater.
Oh, and we're gonna build our own theater in your town.
Like,
How long do we have? A month? It'll be done.
we'll be done. We got it in a week, and that's what makes me worried. Now, like I said, if you're a Disney fan and you're an adult, that's weird. No, I'm just kidding. If you're a Disney fan, I'm not saying anything against Disney. Personally, like I said, I do like the Marvel movies. I love what they did with the Star Wars movies. Rogue One was incredible. Force Awakens was pretty good. I'm just annoyed that these businessmen, you know what I mean, are destroying what's beautiful about cinema. You know what I mean?
And this is why people, and I think already it's hard to get people to want to go to the theater. Ticket sales are already pretty high. You know what I mean?
And that's what theaters might have to do is raise ticket sales, stuff like that, to compete. But what annoys me is this killing of mom and pop theaters like they're doing kind of really makes me sad, because I know one of the reasons why I love film the way I did was you grew up around here, was our little mom and pop theaters. We had one theater for years, DeMarco Theater.
The one by Landis?
Yes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was amazing. It was a small theater, it was cheap, popcorn. They played movies a little later than everybody else.
Yeah, they did. I think it was like a 2 weeks.
2 week, yeah.
Yeah.
But because of that, you know what I mean? It was just an appreciated theater. It was run out of business, of course, by big theaters. And then growing up, I don't know if you remember this. There was
one in the mall?
inside the mall, and it was two screens.
Yep.
Only had two
I
screens.
remember I saw when I was a kid. That was the first time I ever went to the movies. Was there, and I saw Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
I remember seeing Wolf with Jack Nicholson in that theater, and I remember, but I liked it because it was so small. You could talk movies with the concession guy and the project guy who talk about films. And it's like, you don't really have that anymore in these big, massive chains of theaters, you know? But hey, it is what it is.
You know, who are we?
Who are we to want to say film, make it better, you know?
Well, something that has always brought in some light to my day is The Witcher.
That was a great game, man.
I know, we talk about it all.
I wish I had white hair, to be honest, to be that cool.
I want you to know sometimes I contemplate growing my hair out and just waiting for it to naturally go gray.
So you'd be as cool.
Yeah, as Geralt.
Yeah. So when's that sequel coming out? Because that game's amazing. You know, I can't wait. Witcher 4, man. Tell me, tomorrow?
No, so it seems that CD Projekt Red has decided there will not be a Witcher 4. They said that
Sorry, one more time. I don't think everybody heard it.
there will not be a Witcher 4.
So they don't like money.
They say that Geralt's story is done. But that doesn't mean that they will not revisit that world. So we may get other games set in the Witcher world, but Geralt's just done.
All right, here's my question, too. Okay, I can understand that. Sometimes the best story has a beginning and end. I can understand that. Do you remember a game called Infamous?
Yes.
First two starred a guy named Cole. Great games, greatly reviewed, did well. Third one, not so well, and the only thing different from it was they replaced Cole with a new character. Do you think this could hurt this franchise?
Here's what I'll say. I think the reason why it hurt Infamous was because I think Infamous, they did have a vision of how they wanted it to begin and end. But the problem was, when you're owned by a bigger company, they want you to probably keep pushing out more. I respect CD Projekt Red for saying, our story with Geralt is done, you know? And I respect that they don't want to ruin that, you know what I mean? Like, BioWare easily could have been like, we're going to have a fourth Mass Effect and Shepard's back. And then that could ruin your entire thought process of Shepard.
3.
Because, don't get me wrong, while Andromeda wasn't well received, I think it was a good game, don't get me wrong. Not horrible.
You've said that before. You're the only one, but you said it, yeah.
But I think had they released a fourth game, and it was continuing as Shepard, it would taint the other three as well.
Sorry, only word.
Like, you know, so I'd much rather them say, yeah, we're going to make more in the same world, because I think CD Projekt Red is genius with their writing. You know what I mean? They had side stories that to me felt like they should be main stories.
My question is, do you think they would do something like Hideo Kojima attempted in Metal Gear Solid 2 where you did introduce a new character, but you left the old character in there? Do you think we'd see him at all in the game? Maybe interact, have him be a newer, old character?
I think it depends on how far in the future this next game they make is. If it's past Geralt's lifespan, then I don't think we'll see it. I think maybe we'll hear about him, but I don't think.
Well, I mean, that could also hurt, because I think that's one of the things that hurt Metal Gear Solid 2.
I will agree. I think
completely
a lot
getting
of
rid of Snake.
a lot of people didn't like Raiden at first. You know, it really took. I didn't really like him until about the 4th time I finally played Metal Gear Solid 2, and I was like, you know what? I actually like him. And it probably wasn't until Metal Gear Solid 4 came out that I was like, wow, he's a badass.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's still a great world.
It
You know
is.
what I mean? And as long as they don't change, that's what made as great of a character as he was, that's what really made it was that world. The fact that it felt like a living, breathing world.
Yeah.
So if you kind of follow that same formula with a different character, the only thing I would be worried about is if they go too extreme and the opposite. You know what I mean? I still would want to play as a Witcher, if that would make sense.
I do think that would have to be a thing as well. You do, but you know what I think could be interesting? We do know there were other Witcher houses. There wasn't just the wolves. There was also the cats, you know, the bear. So I think it'd be interesting if you got to be in a different house. It
The
wasn't,
ocelots.
yeah, you know.
Wow!
Back to Metal Gear. But yeah, so like I said, I respect their decision in it, but
It's a brave decision.
it is brave.
That's saying I don't want money, money, money.
I agree. Well, every time that they've made a Witcher game, and every Witcher game has made money. The first one has made the money. They've always taken the money and put it towards the next game. I don't think they've ever kept the money for themselves and actually put it into the studio.
And you can tell, man, because them games are polished
Yeah,
and amazing.
yeah.
And it's been out for, what, 3 years? And we're still talking about it almost every podcast.
And it's still my game of the generation.
I honestly I'm surprised we haven't got a call yet. Well, thanks for advertising our game for us. Because you two have it hard on for that one. You got it bad, man. And we do.
I do.
We do.
So let's talk about something else we really kind of have a hard on for. Some Injustice, maybe? Some DC Comics?
Oh, man.
So today you called me a liar.
I did. I called you an effing liar. I used the big boy word.
Yeah, you did. Because I told you that
And oh, God, hold on. I need a moment. This is amazing. Go ahead.
So they showed off the next character pack for Injustice.
It starts off pretty simple with the Atom. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I do like. I hope that this is incorporated into his moveset. He looks like he gets small and big while fighting. So I think
He does look similar to the CW Atom. Not all the way. It looks like they came up with their own design. But I do like the fact that it's a guy in a suit. They did fix up the mask because the mask in the CW show looks stupid. But did like that. And then we also got a cooler version of Enchantress, who doesn't look like a stripper looping.
or a hobo.
Yes. So it was really cool. I do like that. But the end of the trailer is what got me super excited.
Now everyone saw the Psy in the ground, and they instantly thought of what's her name
Melina
from
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat. So everyone thought that it was going to be her. Which, if it was, I'm not going to lie, I would have been upset because I'm tired of Mortal Kombat characters making their way into these games.
Absolutely. There was 2 already.
Yeah.
Too many. And Raiden had that big opening in his chest.
Yes. But it wasn't a
No.
Mortal Kombat character.
No, it wasn't.
It was a turtle. A
Not
teenage
just turtle.
mutant ninja turtle. And it wasn't just one. No.
It was all 4.
Yes. So Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael are making it into the game.
What I loved about this is, one, they look so similar to the 1990 movies.
Yes, they look. It looks like. I feel like the developers were like, we love those movies. That's what our turtles are.
And they were great. Number 2, I love the voice acting. I loved when Mikey was like, I got the magic rod, and Leo's like, we do this together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I thought it looked amazing. But more than that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle in a fighting game where I can literally play Leonardo versus Batman in a fighting game. You know what I mean?
It's almost like a dream come true.
It is. It's amazing.
And I will give the NetherRealm Studios.
Yes.
That's the studio. I will give them this. They have knocked it out of the park with some of these special guest characters every time.
I can do Raphael versus Hellboy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Now, I don't know if each turtle is its own individual character or if it's combo based, kind of like you know how some of the characters in Injustice have stances?
Right.
I don't know if maybe if you switch a stance, then you're tagging in a different turtle.
That would be interesting. Either way, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Because even if they just gave me one turtle, I would have been excited, man.
Now, I was excited last pass because I really like Hellboy.
Yes.
You know, I am a big Hellboy fan. And when I saw him in, I was like, man, maybe I want to get Injustice again. But now, I'm like,
I said,
man.
I cannot wait to get rid of Marvel Capcom to get Injustice back. Oh, man. I missed that game, too. And I did love Injustice, and I regret getting rid of it now.
Yeah, especially with the Turtles.
Absolutely. I'm so excited, man. And it's funny, I was just talking smack on NetherRealm's releasing all these season passes. But I also feel like, man, if you're going to make me pay for another season pass, these are the characters you give me. Hellboy. You give me Turtles, you know what I mean?
But you know what's great? You don't have to buy the season pass for them. You know, like, I really wanted Hellboy, but I didn't care personally about Raiden. I wanted Black Manta, but I think separately those two were still cheaper than the season pass.
Absolutely.
So I didn't need a season pass. I could just buy those two characters.
And I do like the fact that, like, out of these next round, I would want only Hellboy, Black Mantis, Adam, and the Turtles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
same.
Yeah, so it's.
Because Enchantress just doesn't. I just don't like her as a character. She could have a cool fighting set, but I won't care.
Where, I mean, by this point, they've literally, every season pass, there's always been that character where everybody was like, wow, you had the Red Hood at first, which everybody's, oh, and then Hellboy, now the Turtles. Do you think we'll get another pack, and who do you think would be the outstanding one? Because every time,
So
we've gotten like, wow, you can't outdo yourselves, and then they somehow do.
I got it. Big Bird.
No.
No, but you know who I wouldn't mind seeing? John Constantine.
Okay, I agree.
I think he would be a cool one to add in. And I think as like, but he's a part of the DC universe. So let me get a little weird now. I think of someone that's not. I'm shocked that Spawn isn't in it yet.
Yeah, I agree. Spawn would be really good. I'm surprised none of the Watchmen are in it yet.
That is also really shocking.
Yes, especially since
Now, I do think that the season pass thing is what they're going to just keep doing.
I was actually thinking of, and I think this would be pretty badass, and it would be something people lose their mind for. Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger. Like, one, you know, Jason David Frank would be down to do the motion cap, the voice, everything. Like he always says, and I completely agree with this, he's like the Wolverine of Power Rangers. Everybody loves him. He's the most important Power Ranger. And they just did the Justice League versus Power Ranger crossover. That would be a genius idea to put him in the game. You know what I mean? Like another, oh my god, I'm playing as the Green Ranger versus Green Lantern. Like,
If the Green Ranger makes it in to Injustice 2, I want you to know that I will scream. Because the Green Ranger is my favorite Power Ranger. As cliche as that sounds, which is kind of annoying, I get it. It's
what
just
is your ringtone for me, man?
it's the Green Ranger sound. But it's just, oh man. It's funny because my girlfriend works at the bookstore, and every time I go in there, they had a Green Ranger pop. And I always eyed him up. I always wanted him. Finally, their pops were 50% off. I was like, today's the day. I'm going to own the Green Ranger pop. They already sold him. I was really upset. Never again will I hold out on the Green Ranger.
Absolutely.
But that is a really good pick. I didn't even think of that.
I absolutely did. And it's funny. And I was thinking, and it's actually funny that I thought about it a while ago. Every year, me and my wife pick out Christmas ornaments.
Uh-huh.
And we were out picking out Christmas ornaments, and I saw the Green Ranger ornament, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to get. And I was thinking, this would be so awesome in a fighting game. I was like, they should put this in Injustice. And then like that, so that's exactly where I thought of it. But I would love for him to be a character. Minus that, Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger versus Leonardo. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, man.
amazing
His
fight.
ult would be him playing the Dragon Flute and summon the Dragon Sword.
Absolutely. They're dancing up there. I don't know.
Uh,
But it would be do, 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 do.
and you just see the Dragon Sword come down and just shoot a beam or something. Oh, my, man.
Get on this.
I feel like now I need to like message NetherRealm or something or tag both the NetherRealm and Tommy
Yeah.
or Frank.
Jason David Frank.
Yeah, tag both of them in.
Which is still in amazing shape, and he still loves playing that character. So that
Yeah.
I mean, he did what was the Green Ranger versus Ryu they did. He played that
Yeah.
character in that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So he's still very passionate about it.
That's a great pick. Good job there. Another good job I would like to say is to Sony. So they're
I love Sony.
they're doing a new rewards program. They kind of have two things they added.
Okay.
The first thing they said was if you go on and you register as a rewards member, you link your PlayStation account to your rewards account. Every time you earn trophies, after you earn a certain number of bronze, you'll get a big batch of points. After you earn a certain number of silver, you get a batch of points. Gold and platinum, you get another batch of points. These points can be used to just buy games.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, so now you're basically getting rewarded for playing on their console.
Well, that's just good enough news. There's nothing else I really need to know, right?
Well, for every time you buy something now on PlayStation Store, you also get points to go towards new games.
Shut your mouth. So you're telling me it's like GameStop for digital games, and not only am I getting points for buying the game, I'm getting it for playing it as well?
Yeah.
Well, GameStop doesn't even do that.
No, they don't.
Shut up, man.
Shocked GameStop hasn't figured out how to do
I
that.
don't know how they wouldn't do that, yeah. I think this is a genius idea. I've always said that, and I remember when the 360 started achievement points. So that would have been something really cool to do with achievement points, is every few achievement points you get 1 point. And you need a ridiculous amount of points to get a game. But, eventually you're going to get enough points where you can get a game.
Yeah.
I've always thought that would be something awesome. The only question I have is, with this stuff, like you said, you can purchase game. What about DLC? Can you use it for DLC? Do you know?
So actually, this is what I should have said directly. It's not purchasing games. It is straight PSN currency. So you can buy whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be DLC or video game related. If you wanted a movie, get a movie.
Word.
It's just PSN money.
Just go through my whole library, play enough until I can afford the DC animated pack. Oh God, man! Really?
But I just thought that was awesome.
I think it is. It's funny because I've always had this discussion. I had this discussion when I went to GameStop today. I want to go digital, but I trade in games too much, and this would kind of be my reason to be like, well, maybe this is okay too. I would have to see how it works. What the point value is for it, but
Well, for every 1,000 is $10. So, and it's for every 250 bronze trophies, you get, I think it's 1,000 points. For every 100 and something silver, you get 1,000. For every 10 platinum, you get 1,000. And I don't remember the gold.
That's a pretty smart idea. And I think it's a really neat idea. So I'll have, like I said, there's certain games where I'm just going to get digital. Wolfenstein 2, I'm going to do a digital release for it when I do decide to get it, only because seeing you play it, I've been watching videos over and over at work, getting myself more excited. I know it's probably not going to be a game I'm going to trade in. And I do look at certain games I own that I wish I'd got digital. Like, I look at all the Uncharted games. I'll never get rid of any of them. Pretty sure it would have been cool to own them all digitally.
Just so you don't ever have to worry about
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I've owned, Uncharted Collection came out, 3 years ago? I've never even thought about touching it for a trade.
Yeah.
So, but hey, maybe I'll do that one day. Do the purge of games I'm willing to get rid of, and then anything I would want to keep, I'll just rebuy digitally.
I did that when I first got my PS4, I actually started buying physical. It didn't last very long. So then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go digital. But that's what I did. The games that I had physically, I just sold them back to GameStop, got PlayStation money, and paid the difference to get them all back digitally. And that's how the ball's been rolling ever since.
And that's where your baby came from.
What I will say...
No, I'm sorry, that's not the way it works. Sorry.
What I will say is difficult about being digital. It does make people buying you gifts a little harder. Because I don't think people really want to just buy you gift cards. You know what I mean?
Like every holiday, I've gotten you a PlayStation card, and I always feel awkward about it because I'm like, all I'm doing is hand you a PlayStation card.
Yeah.
And I remember, what was it, your birthday? I got you $50 points for PlayStation card, and you were like, oh, thank you, I bought this game with it. And I was like, oh, I felt better, but it was really awkward on your birthday to just hand you a card.
Yeah.
So I can understand that.
So
Absolutely.
usually when someone does give me that, I tell them what I spent it on so that they can feel like they got me that game.
Right.
But yeah, I can see why some people, because I do have relatives or friends that just refuse. They're like, I'm going to buy it for you physically. If you want to return it and get the cash back and get the PlayStation currency, you can, but I just can't. They're like, it just feels, I don't have anything to wrap. I'm putting it in a card.
Like you said, your birthday, it's in the card. But I take it back to Christmas when you got me Final Fantasy 15. You got me the physical game.
Yeah.
And I screamed when I opened it. You know what I mean? That makes a huge difference.
But I do think that's something Sony could do, and I'm really shocked that more places don't do it. Not just Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, gift games digitally. If I wanted to buy you a game, you and me are friends on PlayStation, why can't I go to PlayStation and be like, okay, gift. Who do I want to gift it to? Jesse. And then that would be really cool if they had okay, is this a birthday? Is it Christmas? And they wrapped it. And you
kind of like when you download a game on your 3DS and it comes wrapped.
Yeah.
And you have to unwrap it there. I agree. That would be really neat.
I think that would...
It's something as simple as you clicking, he wants Final Fantasy 15. Looking at it, and then it would make it easy for returns because do you approve this or do you want the points?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I approve this. Or no, I would rather just have the points.
Yeah.
That'd be something awesome. I agree with you.
That's...
You know what? Let's just make these calls and do these emails. Because that would make it so much easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because then I feel like you wouldn't feel like, oh, all I did was get him a card. It's like, no, I got you the game.
I knew exactly what you were going to do with that PSN money. You were getting God of War.
Yeah.
And that's legit what you told me you're doing with it.
Yeah, I pre-ordered God of War. That still isn't out yet.
Yeah. And I was like, for all that, I wish I could have just been like, God of War. There it is.
Yeah. So, and I think it would be really cool, too, because then I pay for it. Next time you're on, guess what? The game's there.
Yep.
That would be awesome. But let's talk about some not awesome things. Oh, no. This actually is still awesome. Xenoblade 2.
So the Direct came out. Looks really good, man.
I'm really excited.
Character looks a lot like you. You realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little comb over, a little paleness.
Rex,
He does look a lot like you.
Thank you.
And I feel like you would wear that outfit, too.
It's funny because everyone on the internet is like, oh, the outfits in that game are so dumb. And here I am like, I want it. It was funny because someone was like, oh, they put that dumb outfit in Zelda. Why would I even want that?
Yeah.
And I commented like, that outfit's the only thing that kind of makes me want to play Zelda.
I do like the outfit. More importantly, I just really love the way the game looks. And I don't know what Nintendo was thinking because the last Xenoblade was way more realistic, visual-wise. I feel like that almost hurt it on the Switch because as good as it looked...
You mean on the Wii U?
On the Wii U. As good as it looked, it was nothing compared to games on the PS4.
I agree.
So I feel like this look makes it look like one of the best-looking games I've seen out there.
So beautiful.
When I'm glad that they're doing the day one patch for the Japanese language so I can let them fanboys stop crying because that's the first thing I always hear on Nintendo forums. I can't do Japanese voice acting. Okay, thank you. But when you seen the cutscene when he walked in, he's talking, you see the girl in the chamber, it just looked so gorgeous. I love the animation. Even the way the light reflected off his big anime-looking eyes. I was like, man, this looks so good. And I hated the first one. I did, and I got this game reserved. I think it's ridiculous.
That's funny because I really like the first one. I played the whole game at shirtless Shulk.
Damn you, shirtless Shulk.
But, yeah, I'm really feeling it.
It does look really good. The only thing I really wish, and I understand this was the Nintendo Direct, I really wish I heard more English voice acting for it. Only because, once again, what can take out of a game is really bad voice acting. And I don't want to be playing it and be like, we have to fight with swords.
Yeah. Ugh. They do have trailers with the English voice acting, so if you kind of want to see a taste, you can go there. But I do agree. I thought it was weird that it was an American Direct for us, but it was all in Japanese.
Well, I do think it was for one. Let's call it out. Xenoblade is going to be played by three kind of people: fanboys, not so much fanboys, but still fanboys, and people that are curious because it looks good now on the Switch. Okay. So, 2 out of those 3 groups are going to be the ones who be like, I want it in Japanese voice acting because that's the way the game originally was. So, Mom, shut up! Like, that's are going to be the ones to play. So, I wasn't surprised by that. I remember dealing with that in school. Every time I talked to a friend of mine about RPGs, there was always like that real nerdy kid that came over. He was like, oh, well, I liked Final Fantasy X, but I had to turn the Japanese voice acting on. I'm like, we're American, bro. They speak English here. I want to hear my character talk, okay? Word. So it always, and I'm not saying, America, we speak English. I'm just saying, I speak English. Why wouldn't I?
It's what you prefer.
Yeah.
Now, I thought something that was a little weird and was really unexpected. A season pass.
Yeah.
Xenoblade is getting a season pass.
Yeah.
That's awesome to me. Now, I will say, here's my only problem with this season pass. One, I don't know the pricing yet. I'm going to assume $20. Maybe that's not too bad. I don't like that it looks like the content is similar to that of Zelda. The first batch of content all looks like it's just more weapons, armor, things that I personally don't care about. And then you got this one story thing that they say. And it's like, alright, but what is it?
Well, here's what's making me worried about that was we were supposed to get the Zelda story when?
This year, this holiday.
Yes, and it's still not out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the only reason I bought that season pass. So that's what's annoying me, and that's why I'm going to hold out on the season pass for Xenoblade. I think it's cool. It is weird to me because the last game, as much as I didn't like it, was a ridiculous. Well, how many hours was it?
Oh, it was. I think just for you to get your own mech was
like
25 hours.
Yeah, it was. No, I think it took almost 30 because I remember I got to the mech when I was just like, this game's not done.
Yeah.
It's something ridiculous.
I think it's 180 hours.
And so that's why I'm shocked because I feel like looking at this, you can look at a game sometimes and be like, this being a long ass game. And that's exactly the feeling. So, and you know what though? Witcher 3. If you never played any of the download content for Witcher 3, you'd be like, this is a complete experience.
Yes.
With all that DLC, you're like, wow, when does this end? What did it end up being? Like 300 hours?
It is 300 hours to do everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's cool. In some ways, I feel like Nintendo's like, you know, growing up and stepping out of their comfort zone. Some ways, they're still that old man on their porch telling them kids to get out of their yard.
Yeah.
You know what I feel like right now? Nintendo is like the WWE. You know what I mean? Still owned by Vince McMahon, who's set in his ways. But his son-in-law is like, hey, let's try these new things so we can actually make money nowadays. So sometimes new ideas will slip by, but then the old man's like, not too much. Shut it down.
Well, the old man needs to simmer down because let me tell you one thing that really annoyed me about what was going on with this direct. No amiibo for Xenoblade 2. Now, I get it, Nintendo. You guys want to release your amiibos for your big titles, your big fancy things. How are you going to let...
I'm sorry, your big what?
Fancy things.
Big fancy things.
Now, how are you going to release an amiibo for every game? You released it for an Animal Crossing board game on the Wii U.
You did.
You're gonna
We got 3
Yep.
from Mario.
Now, Xenoblade is getting an exclusive controller that is $75.
It does look so good, though.
It does. They have a collector's edition, really nice collector's edition, $100. And it doesn't include the season pass, which I think is a little bit annoying.
See that?
But you're also releasing a season pass and no amiibos. Why can't I have a Rex amiibo? I don't even need that many. At least one. I really like this series. And you guys, not only are you the only ones getting it, but you refuse to support it in a way that I think shows Nintendo fans that you're taking it seriously.
I agree with you. There's been amiibos released for DS games. There's Samus got them. There's been multiple versions of characters coming out. Heck, Cloud got 2 amiibos.
Cloud!
For one with a coat and one in the same section without a coat. I can understand that. That is really odd. Maybe, like I said, the first one sold enough to get a sequel, but not amazing. The sales have never been like, wow.
Yeah, and the second one didn't sell very well, from my understanding.
So,
But I think that was more because it was on
the Wii U.
Wii U.
Like I said, I bought it on the basis of it looked good, and the game was amazing, just not what I expected at the time.
Yeah.
So, I can understand your frustration. What frustrates me, though, I feel like we got one direct for it. You know what I mean? And I feel like you talked about Doom more than you did this game, though.
Yeah.
Which is a re-release of a PS4 and Xbox One game already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like Nintendo, as much as it's cool that you're getting third party, your bread and butter is still always going to be your first party.
And what sucks is I feel like this game isn't going to do well again, but it's going to be because of the lack of support they gave it. You know, I still have people after that direct asking me, "What is that game about?" You should not be asking that question after a direct when the game comes out in a month.
Once again, and what's really nice about Xenoblade is something that a lot of people complain about. It has a good story to it. And once again, all the Direct does is talk about gameplay, talks about what you can do, what your characters can do, and all that. So I kind of wish they would have got more into the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the first one, I remember playing the one on the Wii U. I remember playing it where your ship crashes in the beginning and like the story and you're just trying to link it up with the rest of your team. It felt like, a survival horror almost in the beginning and an alien story with these awesome RPG elements. And if you would have showed me that in like a trailer, something along them lines, I would have been really excited for it.
I agree.
I know, that's why I said it.
But, I hope it does well. I hope we get more. But we'll see.
Let's see the SD card for it, though. You know what I'm saying? SD card's going to be blue. And $100.
Oh, my God.
For 16 gigs.
Let's talk about this, because Nintendo, I think what you're doing with these SD cards is literally disgusting.
You think it's disgusting?
I do. I
thought it was despicable.
And it's very anti-consumer. You know what I mean? You just got a lot of big praise from your fanboys. You know what I mean? A lot of Nintendo fans have been waiting to be like, Nintendo's back on top. And I think, arguably, you can say they are. I'm not going to say definitely because, different opinions. But arguably, I can see how some people would say that. And it kind of feels like this is something that they're taking advantage of those same people.
What do you mean, buddy?
Well, Nintendo has... They have a deal with SanDisk, and they are making their own Nintendo-branded SD cards.
Oh, that's good. So, more space for less money, right?
No. In fact, these SD cards will say Nintendo on them, and that some of them will have a character art on the cardboard, not on the actual SD card. But they're actually more money for the same amount of space. And here's a good example. So, for a 64GB Nintendo-branded SD card, it's $100. A non-Nintendo branded SD card, though, the same thing, 64 gigs, is anywhere between $20 to $30.
And what's funny about that being $100, you would think for $100, this is the only SD card I'm going to need. 64 gigs isn't doing much for your Switch.
No.
Especially since games like LA Noire is, 32 gigs?
Yeah.
By itself?
29.
29. All right. Still,
Yeah, and that's just digital. And then if you go with the cartridge, it's still 14 gigabytes.
Yeah. I don't think people really understand, too, with these gigabytes where you're like, oh, I have 64 gigabytes. I have all this space. You don't get that 64 gigabytes. There's always room.
Something on the card already.
So, that's a lot. That is ridiculous.
That's not even the ridiculous part, though, because if you jump up to the next size, 126 gigs, usually you can get those for about $50.
All right, $50, half $100. Not too great, but not too bad.
Yes.
So Nintendo's is what, 60, 70?
No, Nintendo's is $200. So you're getting double the memory from the 64 gig, so they probably think double the price.
Sorry, you said 200 doll hairs?
Dollars.
As in actual... Oh, so they're like coins. They want like the Mario coins.
No. American dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know who this is taking advantage of? Let's be honest. It's taking advantage of that holiday mom who doesn't know any better. She's going to go get a Nintendo Switch from GameStop. Ask GameStop, does she need anything else? GameStop's going to say, oh, you might want an SD card because, this doesn't have that much memory. She's going to go look at the SD cards and think, do I need a particular one? Oh, this one says Nintendo on it. It has to be enough. She's going to bring up the 64 gig. The GameStop guy is going to be smart enough to be like, well, 64 gigabytes isn't really a lot of memory. I would say at least get the 128. That $300 system just became $500.
Yep.
For only 128 gigabytes. And no games!
Yes. Where I can buy my PS4 with a terabyte in it already for...
400. Actually, that's if you go with the Pro. You technically could get a 1 terabyte PS4 if you get the slim model, even cheaper.
It is, you're right, it's 100%. And it's funny, we're complaining about it, but neither of us would ever buy.
No, neither one of us would. But the reason why I say it's disgusting is because Nintendo knows what they're doing.
You're not targeting somebody like me and you.
Yeah.
Targeting two types of people. those dumb moms or that insane Nintendo fanboy that's like, it's got it on the cardboard, I gotta get it, you know?
Or I do believe that all the cartridges themselves do say Nintendo on them too, like the actual SD card. But it's like, that is not worth paying more than double the price.
So we're fighting Nintendo.
I mean, I've been fighting Nintendo.
You want to burn it all down like Seth Rollins, the wrestler?
I just feel like, Nintendo just got a lot of good grace from people, and this kind of is just like, why would you do this?
It does. It makes me want to call John Locke up from Lost to have a word with some of the higher ups. Not to hurt them too bad. Just to get them, understand spiritually what they're doing to people.
Even if they made the SD cards $10 more, I would be like, you know what? It is Nintendo branded. I guess you're paying for that.
I never understood the price jump when it comes to just the visual looks, unless it makes sense for it. Like the PlayStation controllers that had the extra colors in it, okay, it costs a little more money to manufacture them, so $5 more makes sense to me.
Yeah, because they're 65.
Yes.
Just like the Xenoblade.
Yes, that makes sense. And a lot of people don't understand that is with accessories like that, although they are making a profit, it's not as much of a profit as you think they would make on it. So that's why they have to do those price raises for just different colorations. You know what I mean? Because something as simple as having to change your paint and the way the controller is sprayed out costs money, you know? So I can understand that. But when it's a huge jump like that for just a visual, to me, that is the most disgusting thing in the world. It's the same thing I never understood about systems that come out with a certain design on it, and they're more money if they don't come with an actual game. That never made any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand what Sony does when they release their, Destiny White Edition of the PS4 Pro, because it came with Destiny. So, obviously, that $50 more makes sense. Surprised it's not $60 more, you know?
Yeah.
But when they just release it with a certain skin and no other thing, it's like $10, $20 more. Really? Really, you jerks. So, one more thing that's on the ad with some sad news. Sonic Forces came out Tuesday, huh?
Yeah.
Did you watch the reviews?
I watched a review for it, actually, and I don't remember the verdict.
Oh, people have not been happy with this.
Really?
Yes.
I did remember seeing that they said the best part of the game was the character creation.
Okay. The one thing I seen was they nailed the 2D worlds, or the 2D side worlds. The rest of it kind of feels a little rushed and clunky. So, either way, game's not doing well sales-wise, and it's not doing well review-wise. And every review said the same thing. This was pretty stupid coming out right after Sonic Mania. Because Sonic Mania did so well, they're like, what is this? And I've heard somebody said, even if you do everything in the game, every side mission, everything like that, you can literally finish the game in 11 hours, one sitting. Just because there's just game's so open, just easy, and non-processor. A little disappointing, man. I was.
And I know you're a big Sonic fan.
I was hoping that it was going to be amazing turnaround after Sonic Mania.
Now, did you still pick it up?
No.
Are you going to not let your son know it's out yet?
He knows. He asked me about it, and I said maybe for Christmas.
Hoping for a steep sale.
Yes. Well, funny that you mentioned that. Black Friday, it's on sale for $20 already.
Wow.
Yes. So sales are that bad for it.
That's crazy.
Yes, it is. But Sonic Mania is still doing well, by the way.
Do you think they released Sonic Mania before it because they knew they didn't have something great in hopes of building a pipe that
Well,
people
they
would
were
just
two
buy?
separate teams. The Sonic team is one that actually made Sonic Forces, so they've been making all the Sonic games prior. The team that made Sonic Mania was a fan-based team. I think their name was Headcanon, that were always making fan-made Sonic games. So Sega hired them, was like, hey, do you think you could actually make a Sonic game? So I think this is going to make Sega take a long look at the Sonic team to be like, these people that we hired that used to make fan versions of your games just made a better game than yours, a better selling game too. So, and I do think the Sonic team has kind of lost their grip. Like, as much as they want to be, the other version of Mario, anytime you try to reinvent Sonic and stuff like that, it kind of fails. And I kind of don't understand what they're going. I understand they want to reinvent themselves, but every time they do have something good, they kind of ruin it. You had something amazing with Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, So you're like, oh, if people like controlling multiple heroes, let's make them do it at the same time. Made Sonic Heroes. Didn't do well. And Sonic Generations, people were like, oh, this is a great Sonic game.
It's funny because Sonic Heroes was the last one I played because I loved Adventures 2 so much on the GameCube. I got Heroes and I didn't like Heroes.
Nobody did.
And I've never played a Sonic game since. Also because they kind of did away with Shadow now that I think about it too.
I always found it funny that Knuckles was supposed to be Sonic's rival, and then all of a sudden they came up with Shadow. It was even more edgy. But I digress. It doesn't matter. So, didn't mean to make it all end on the depressed note. Any other good news? Come on, let's cheer up the people before they go crying.
I'm sorry. But,
I got a new pair of shoes.
Oh, I got a new pair of work boots.
I got a new pair of work shoes.
Nice.
Hey.
Well, they do have another thing to look forward to. Your enthusiast pick.
Ooh, that is true. Really excited about this one. If you have Hulu or FX cable, there is a show starring Donald Glover called Atlanta. It is
Like the city?
like the city. It all takes place in Atlanta, Georgia.
No way.
Which is where Donald Glover, the actor, actually grew up. And he said, I watched Beyond the Scenes. He said how weird it was filming there because he's like, I grew up with these blocks and stuff. But it is an amazing show. And it's about the underground hip hop scene. But even if you're not big into hip hop, like my wife is not big into hip hop, I think you'll find something you really like about the show because it shows what some of these rappers that get these like, thug persona don't even mean to sometimes. And it's pretty funny, but the show was just well written, well acted, hilarious. There was so many moments where I had to rewind the show because we laughed so hard that we missed the second joke.
Now, I actually wanted to see this because Donald Glover's in it.
Yes.
I actually really like him as an actor.
So he
comedian.
writes, produces, directs it, and stars.
What can't he do?
Yeah, so I was actually really impressed with it.
Now, what's the time period of it? Because that always confused me when I saw the trailers for it, because they don't really give a time period, and all the bits from the trailer don't really show anything that you could be like, oh, it's clearly this.
You know what? I'm thinking it's modern day because they do have cell phones and texting
Okay.
and stuff like that, but I wouldn't be surprised it was like, it could have been early 2002. I think why it shows it like that is the story revolves around an underground rapper starting to move up in the business. Not him, a friend of his in the show. And I think because of that, all you see their world through their eyes.
Okay.
So they're in his blog. They're doing small little interviews or doing club appearances and stuff like that. So, and it's always funny, even the way the show is filmed, you're seeing everything through his eyes. So I noticed this film while they were filming it, what I really like, the camera never goes above Donald Glover's head. And it's even a shot where he's not in it, it's always a lower shot where you're almost looking up to any actor that's taller than him. I don't know if he did that on purpose or what, but I really enjoy the show. It sucks the next season doesn't come out to 2018. But I'm excited.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah, I was really excited to see it already, but
he's just phenomenal.
wow, you actually had a good pick. This might be the first pick I don't edit out of the podcast.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. I'm telling you, I really knew I wanted to share this one after me and my wife. Like, so we binged it in like 2 days.
Wow.
And I almost probably, if she didn't fall asleep, I would have finished it in a day. Because I loved it. I loved every minute of that show.
All right. That's a good one. I'm excited. I'm going to have to go home and watch that tonight.
Yes.
But this has been episode... What episode is it?
Hold on. It's 49. Is it really 49?
Yeah. It's almost a year.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Done a lot of shows there, buddy.
I know. It's getting old.
We never missed a week, man, either. We've been sick. We've had kids. You know what I mean? Viruses.
Hershey squirts.
Hershey squirts. My house was under quarantine at one time.
Yeah.
Man, we've been through a lot, buddy. I've loved every minute of it, though. We've hosted panels.
We have.
We've gotten restraining orders. It's been good times. You know, DM me, Jonathan Silver.
I'm not trying to say we're a big deal, but
I did get recognized today. I forgot to tell you that.
What?
Yes.
Where?
I was in Five Below, and somebody was like, You were at the library. You were the funny guys that hosted the panel, right? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, hey, man, good to see you. I was in the comic one. I was like, oh, hey, man, it's good to see you. I felt really embarrassed, too, because it was like my homeless gear this morning. It was the sweatpants and hoodie. I was like, I hope he's not like, oh, what happened to that guy?
It's funny because about a week after we did it, I actually had someone notice me, too, but I was in shorts, a hoodie, and I'm like, man, these guys probably thought that we lived some luxurious life, and they're like, oh, he's just a normal guy.
What a jerk.
What a joke.
So I thought it was pretty neat today, but it was just weird. I didn't even recognize him, but apparently he was in our comic panel.
Wow. But yeah, so this has been episode 49 of The Enthusiasts. If you like what you heard, hit that like button. I do want to thank a lot of you because lately we have been getting comments.
Yes.
And I do like that.
And we're even getting 1 or 2 likes a video now.
Yeah.
Let's take it up a little bit there.
Now, Jesse is aware that some of you have been asking for this Mario Odyssey review.
Yeah, put the business out there.
It's coming. It is coming. It's coming hard. All right? And it's going to come when you least expect it.
All right.
But, so please just be...
It's going to come right at you. That's right.
Thank you for your patience, though, with that. We are doing, he's doing a team up with an outsource person. So hopefully that will be up relatively soon. But please make sure you check us out on YouTube. That's our big one.
Yes.
SoundCloud, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course, our website.
Did you say Facebook?
I did say
Did
Facebook.
you say Twitter?
I did say
Did you say Twitch?
I did.
Did you say SoundCloud?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They're
Did you
all
say
covered.
YouTube?
Yes.
All right, man. Did you say our website?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Please hit that like button.
Well, this has been episode 49 of The Enthusiast, and we are gone.
Peace.
Yes, good. Now you're getting